So I have read nearly 37, 38 books this year already, and it is only the first 6, 7 months now. We still have more, time to us to read a few more books. And I've finally decided to curate myself a list of books that I really want to read this year by this year ends actually. So there are 10 books very important for me to get through because I have been meaning to read them. Two new books that I added into the list, and otherwise the 8 books have still been in my list forever now, and I really want to get through all this. And that is the reason I decided to finally sit and film this video so that it also is documented for me to look back when I am already in the month of December this year, and finally, see if I could surpass all these 10 books, because there are certain authors in this list whom I haven't yet read and I have been meaning to read them for an eternity now. So I decided to, take this initiative for my own goodness self and finally talk about all these books so that it is helpful for me, and I also have a list of books for me to pick once I'm done reading these. So without any further delay, because I think again, you know what, I'm really tired with this rain, because whenever I sit down to film a video, there's either people coming in at my house or the weather not supporting me to make any videos. But today I decided to, just sit and talk, because there are people at my place. So if you hear anybody walking, talking, whatever, please ignore, because I can't do anything about it. I can't just shut people out of my room. I mean, I can do that while I'm making a video, but I cannot shut the world outside. That is the reason I thought that, you know what, I can't delay making videos because of these silly things, and I should just finally sit and talk. And without any further ado, let's just jump into the video. Also, please consider checking my Instagram page, where I talk more widely about books every freaking day, unlike YouTube. But yeah, let's just dive right into the video. This video is all about the books, the 10 books that I really want to get through by the end of this year. Like, it's been long since I wanted to read a few of these books, and I have been having them ever since, ever since the creation of this universe. So I haven't yet read any of these books, because few of them I just received, few of them I still have to get my hands on, but I want to read the ones that I already own, and then probably get the others that I already don't have. The book that I really want to read this year, which I already own a copy of. This is the first book that I really want to get my hands on. I mean, I already have my hands on it, but I want to get through, because this book was shortlisted for the Booker 2024, and ever since that I have wanted to read this one, because I have only heard good things about this book. I have only heard good things. There's nothing, no negative reviews that I've ever read about this one, and people were expecting, whoever have read this book, people were expecting that the details would be the winner, but unfortunately it didn't win. The blurb of the book is something like: a famous broadcaster writes a forgotten love letter, a friend abruptly disappears, a lover leaves something unexpected behind, a traumatized woman is consumed by her own anxiety. In the throes of a fever, a woman casts her mind back to the past. In precise, vivid language, the stories of 4 important people who have shaped her life are revealed. 1,000 little memories from across the lifetime laid bare in vivid details as our body temperature races. International bestseller, the detail is a luminous portrayal of all the small moments that make up a life, the little details that makes us human. So I recently read the book Small Things Like This by Claire Keegan, and that book is also something about the details, the small things in life that makes us human, and like a very precise book about how hope is one thing that keeps us alive, and that is how we proceed towards the next day. So that is what the book was about, and when I read this blurb of the details, it also makes me feel that I'm going to be very attached to the book, because of all the small complexities of human existence, and I'm really looking forward to it, because there are a lot of good remarks of the books. For example, Frederick Backman, the author of A Man Called Ove, have said, I have underlined half of the book. I wish I could write like this. So you can imagine, like, a man like Frederick Backman, who is one of my most favorite contemporary authors, have written something like this about this book. So I'm expecting so damn good things about this book that I cannot even tell you. And yeah, so this is one of the books that I already own, and I'm looking forward to get through it. I most probably will read it in the month of August, although I do not ever plan my TBR, but I'm hoping that I read this book in the month of August. So the next book is Eighth Life. I already own a copy of the book. I think I bought it in the year 2023, if I'm not wrong. Oh, sorry, 2022, if I'm not wrong. So it's been long since I already own a copy, but because of the size of the book, even when I have read books like War and Peace and Anna Karenina, that one book still intimidates me a little because I can expect and I know what a classic has to deliver and offer. But I think with Eighth Life, because that is a contemporary book and with that number of pages, I just feel a little hesitant and a little reluctant and intimidated by the book because of the size. But I have been told by my sister, who has read the book, been telling me ever since that you have to read it this year and during winters, because that is a complete setup. The book is completely set up in winters, and you will like you will feel the book, you will feel the atmospheric writing, you will fly through the book because the writing is so well done. And that is how I am a little hopeful, although I am not in a situation where I can read any more big books. Currently I'm already reading A Fine Balance by Rohinton Mistry, which is a 600 page long book. So, as I've already recently read Brothers Karamazov by Fyodor Dostoevsky, my heart does not recommend me to read any more longer books. But because I was very much convinced by my sister's praises for Rohinton Mysteries, what do we call it? Fine Balance, and I have only heard good things about that book as well. And she was like, you have to read it in summer. So there are like, summer and winter book recommendations as well. So she was like, you have to read it in summer, and that is the reason I very impromptu picked A Fine Balance. Because I was reading The Door by Mamta Zabo, and I DNF the book, and I have an entire story why I DNF the book in my Instagram. So please follow me there and check that video out. So I dropped that book and immediately picked A Fine Balance by Rohinton Mystery, and I'm already 200 pages into the book, and I know why it is like so well loved and so well spoken of. I am very happy and grateful that I picked that book now. Even when it's like this long, I'm not feeling overburdened or overwhelmed by any number of pages, or anything about this book. Like, the writing is very nice, the characters are so nice. Like, I'm so attached to the book that I feel that okay, this is a little bigger a book that I didn't expect to read anytime sooner, but no regrets. But with Eight Life, I'll see. I think I'll read it in the. I will definitely read it this year, but I will probably pick the Eighth Life towards winters, maybe in the month of November or maybe December. You never know. I might just end the year by reading a bang on good book. The next book and the third book, which is I don't know if I will end up liking the book or not, because the book is really sad and it's about a woman and her delirium. That's what I have heard about. I don't know exactly what what the book is exactly about, but from what my sister, who has already read the book, have told me, that I might not end up liking the book because the sadness that the book holds. I think from what she told me and from what I can recall, it is about a woman whose husband has left her and her life after her husband's absence. I think something like that. I'm not sure, I might also be wrong. But yeah, that is one book. The book's name is Days of Abandonment by Elena Ferrante. Now, I have not read Elena Ferrante ever, and I think I would want to start with Days of Abandonment because this is one book that a lot of people have talked about. Like, there are people who have really liked and connected with the author's writing. There are people who didn't. So I just want to find out for myself if I like the author or not, and I just want to pick this one damn book because it was so hyped out in Instagram that I want to see what the hype is all about. And that is how I really want to read Elena Ferrante this year, because actually I want to read Elena Ferrante as an author this year, but because this book is so well loved and well probably hated also, I don't know, I want to get through Elena Ferrante by only reading Days of Abandonment, and that is how it landed up in my list. But I don't own a copy of the book. I will probably get it in August, during the Independence Day sale, and we'll see if when to read that book, because that's a small book, and I'm sure the books that I'm mentioning right one after the other are not as big as Eighth Life, and I can easily get through. Okay, so the fourth in the list is Kairos. Now, Kairos, I know a lot of people have not liked the book, but that is again the winner of Booker 2024. And because I have been recommended that book after I praised about Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov, I have been told that the book Kairos shares pretty much the same theme as Lolita, and I might also end up liking the book. That is the reason I thought of giving it a shot. Just like that. So Kairos, because it deals with themes like pedophile and incest, if I'm not wrong. So I am very intrigued, and I have already requested for a review copy from the publishing house, and they are very kindly sending it to me very soon. The fifth book is First Love by Samuel Beckett. And I just recently bought this book, and it's a very tiny book. I wanted to read actually the first love story, like first love as the story, but this one novella comes with other novellas as well. So this has been in my wish list forever, and the moment I saw that the price dropped in Amazon, I immediately placed an order for it, and I already have it. Can't wait to read it also. It's a very tiny book, so I know I can get through it easily. And there are great, praises about the book. Harold Pinter says he's the most courageous, remorseless writer going. He brings forth a he brings forth a body of beauty, and I'm just expecting beautiful writing in this book and nothing else. So yeah, this is the other book that I already have, and I'm very much excited and looking forward to read the book. The next book is the sixth book, if I'm not wrong. The next book is Dance 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 by Haruki Murakami. Now, Haruki Murakami is one author who has the ability to pull me out of any kind of reading slump. So whenever I feel that I'm going into a slump, I will either pick a Japanese author, which I've recently started to do honestly, but generally what I would do is I would read Haruki Murakami's book. Even if it's like already read, I would just go through a few pages and feel myself out of a reading slump. So he has the magic of writing. He has a different kind of writing that I really feel can help anybody in a reading slum, and because he writes some magical realism, something that is not possible humanly, so I feel that he has the caliber to bring any non-reader into the reading family altogether. So Dance 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 is basically set in a hotel, which is what I have been told, and the atmospheric book would really be of my interest. That is also I have been told, and I cannot wait to read Dance 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 because my sister has given it a 5 stars, and I so trust her with book recommendations. And yeah, so I am really looking forward to Haruki Murakami, because I think this year I haven't read any Murakami so far as I can recall. Yeah, I haven't read any Murakami, and I want to read Dance 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 very soon, because Murakami is a god. I know he writes women, he objectifies women, and all of those things. Not a lot of people accepts him when he writes about women, because he writes women just as an object. But even then, I just feel that that is how his way of writing is, and maybe he can give a better explanation of why he writes it the way he does. But I really like the way he writes book. And the next in the list is The Wall by Marlene Horshofer. Now, I'm sorry for butchering the name again, but The Wall is, from what I could understand from the blurb, is The Wall is basically, I felt a little creepy and very interesting. If you read the blurb, I will try and put the picture of the blurb on the screen so that it's convenient for you all. But ever since I came across that book, I just want to buy it. Like, what is stopping me from buying the book is the price in Amazon. Like, I have been meaning to buy and read it ever since I have come across that book. I've not seen a lot of people talk about The Wall, but I I just randomly stumbled upon this book on Amazon, and ever since then I wanted to read it. But the price in Amazon of the book is quite high. I am pretty much sure that I'm going to love it, because the cover of the book and the blurb of the book is so interesting that I'm sure you're going to love it too. So the Eighth book is Stoner by John Williams. Now, Stoner is extremely spoken and talked about. I have seen this book everywhere: Amazon, Goodreads, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, everywhere. I mean, people do not stop praising about this book. They just every other person just compels me to buy this book and read it. I don't own a copy of this book already, and again, I'm waiting for some sale to get the book. Oh god, I'm such a cheapster, but yeah, that is how I am. So I I have only heard good things about it. It's basically about a man who lives a mundane life. There's nothing exception with the plot line, because what my sister has told me is that you cannot expect anything from a plot line from this book. So whenever I come across somebody who talks about Stoner, they will always tell me that if given the chance they would want to read it as if it's for the first time. So you know what it how it is like, there are certain books in your life that you wish you could read it for the first time. So Stoner is one of those books for a lot of people. And because this book is like, very mundane, people always have been very clear about the plot line, that there's no exceptionally well created, crafted plotline when it comes to Stoner. But even then, you feel so drawn towards the book. You want to read it and read and reread this book every time you come across the book. So all of these comments on the books have always, hold me strong to buy the book, and it is high, high, high on my TBR. So the ninth book is Thirst for Love by Mishima. Now, Thirst for Love is not essentially the one book that I want to read, but I want to read the author Mishima. So I am not sure if it's Thirst for Love or if some other book by the author, but it has to be Mishima this year, because I haven't read any Mishima book so far, and I have only heard good things about the author. It is not essential for me to read the Thirst for Love only to explore Mishima as an author, but I really want to explore Mishima as an author. So even if it's Thirst for Love or some other book, doesn't matter, but Mishima has to be read this year so that I can tick this author in my authors list, because I have only heard praises about this one author, and I feel that slowly and gradually I'm turning out to be somebody who is drawn towards Asian literature. And the last book is Pedro Paramo by Juan Ralpho. I have heard about this book. I think this is a very weird book. That's what I've heard from Emma, from Emmy Reads. She has recommended this book a lot of times, and she claims that this book is very weird and disturbing. And I like reading disturbing stuff. Like recently, I read Nails and Eyes by Kaori Fujino. Extremely disturbing and airy and weird, which I generally do not read. But once I read it, I was like, you know what? I think this is what I really liked reading, because it is out of my comfort zone. Sometimes once in a while, it's always essential for you to come out of your comfort zone and read something else. For me, it's also romances, like contemporary romances. I have recently read Conversation with Friends by Sally Rooney, and I really liked it. That sometimes it is very essential for us to, read out of our comfort zone to discover something new, and so that it gives us a wider angle to the literature around us, and also gives us more vivid perceptions of things. Not that you are stuck in one genre and you're reading that genre only. It's sometimes extremely monotonous. So for me, I think Pedro Paramo by Juan Ralpho will be a very interesting read, very different from what I generally read, and I want to explore this author, and especially this one book. I do not want to explore the author widely before I read this one book, because I have heard disturbing and fascinating things at the same time about this book. So these are the 10 books that I really want to get through this year. Like, the year is still enough, the rest of the year is still enough for me to get through all of these books. So we'll see you in the next one with an exciting video, because I am up with an exciting video already. Thank you so much for being till the end if you have been, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.